Hello everyone, this is your host Vaibhav for today's session of Daily Stock, in which we are going to take a hard look on the earnings of the United Health Group. This is a company which operates primarily in the United States, and it has a big presence in the health sector where it offers various types of solutions to make it easier to treat patients in an optimum way. It helps the healthcare providers as well as healthcare receivers to find optimal solutions for the well-being and betterment of the patients. In today's session, we are going to see its quarterly report for the first quarter of fiscal year 2024 to see how things have shaped up for the company in the recent past and how things are going to be, what are the possibilities as we move ahead in this fiscal year. So our goal is to find the opportunities to trade and invest in this promising stock, which has found support around the lows in recent past. Even though it has faced challenges on multiple fronts, it has been a resilient company. The cyber attacks caused the disruption in its services, and there were huge losses on account of that. It has also needed to provide for the exigency, and it has tried to help its clients with the funding wherever possible, and that has, of course, impacted its cash flows adversely. But even in this challenging scenario, the company has been doing well. If you look at its earnings, there was loss for the first quarter of this fiscal year, but even after the loss, the share price has actually gone up, not gone down, because the market tends to discount the known fact and try to gauge what lies ahead. And there I feel that the future is likely to be promising one for the United Health Group, and particularly in the second half of ongoing fiscal year, we are likely to see pick up in the earnings as well as in the net profit for the group. We are going to now go deeper into the earnings report. The revenues have risen year over year by $8 billion. The earnings for the first quarter were impacted adversely by the cyber attacks on the Change Healthcare, and that caused disruption, which has impacted its earnings because it needed to provide support, and direct response efforts also cost money. Along with that, there was loss of business because of this disruption, and that has also pulled its earnings lower for the first quarter. But as I said in my introductory remark, we are likely to see a much better second half on, and that's what the possibility is looking like at the current juncture. The United Health Group has reported a good quarter, not a profitable one, but good quarter in the sense that it showed resilience in the face of these attacks on its operations. And it looks strong enough to survive and then recover and regain the lost ground. For a better idea of its earnings, we will have to see the consolidated statement of income. These are the operational details for its one vertical, Optum. It operates in multiple verticals. Optum is one of it. Here we have these earnings release schedule and comes the consolidated statement of operations. All right, I need to zoom out a bit. Okay, now we get the competitive figures. In it, you can see that the total revenues have gone up by $8 billion, and at the same time, the operating cost has also gone up. And this rise in the operating cost is much more because of the disruption caused by the cyber attacks than for the pure company's business operational needs. So that is something which we need to keep in mind, and that has pulled the earnings from the operations lower to below $8 billion from above $8 billion a year back. The net income is now in loss. There was loss of $1.4 billion for the first quarter in comparison to the profit of $5.6 billion a year back. So you can say a year has changed a lot, and that's also for the worse for the United Health Group. But this too shall pass, and that is something which we will have to live by. The consolidated balance sheet is also with us. In it, you can see the changes in cash and short-term investments. These are liquid assets which can be utilized at a moment's notice for any need of the business, from the needs for the needs like running day-to-day operations or for even investment purposes. The more the cash, the better it is for any company. And here we have the United Health Group sitting on the cash pile of $32 billion, which provides it with a lot of cushion to meet any kind of circumstances, unforeseen circumstances, in a position of winner. And if we consider the cash flow statement from the operations, there was not much of a cash inflow this time around. The cash flows, the net cash flows stood at $1.1 billion in comparison to more than 16 billion a year back. So that's a huge change, but for that, the reasons have already been provided to you. The investment activities have seen less of cash outflow this time around because there was lower cash spending for the acquisition, and that has resulted in lower net cash outflow. Financing activity is generating less cash this time around. The financing activity has added $8.2 billion from the financing options taken by the company instead of $13.19 billion a year back. Overall, this resulted in increase in cash and cash equivalents by US almost 3 billion. So you can see that the cash and cash equivalent has gone up from $25.4 billion to now above $28.4 billion. But still it is lower than the cash balance it has year back, but a lot of money was spent on the acquisition, so that has also pulled its net cash pile on the lower side. Now we turn our gaze to the technical side of the story, and for that we have this graph of the United Healthcare recent price movements. The United Health has seen uptick after its earnings were released and its share price went from below the US dollar 450 mark to above US dollar 500 mark. That's a growth of more than 10 percentage point in the short span of couple of days, and that was caused purely by the earnings report. Now this stabilization seems to be happening on these higher levels, but it's still too early to say whether this is likely to result in a fresh rally or this consolidation is likely to then give way for deeper correction. That is the question which we need to answer before we can decide whether to go long or whether to simply sit on the sidelines, or if we need to change our mind and look at the possibility of short selling it. Right now, given the circumstances, I feel that the price level of around 470 is going to be crucial. And over the next few sessions, if there is consolidation and the price doesn't really drop below 470 mark, I feel we have strong reasons to believe in the possibility of United Healthcare starting to rally again and crossing above US dollar 500 mark again, and going on to rally to make a fresh swing high. But for that, the requirement from my point of view is that it shouldn't really drop below the price on which it was trading after the gap of opening. That is going to be its immediate support, and as long as it remains above it, we can be fairly hopeful of the continuous bull run, which is likely to propel it beyond the 507 levels reached recently, and maybe a further 10 percentage point rally might happen. If we change the time frame and enlarge it to make it medium term, then we have much sober picture, because here the price formation is still of lower low. We can't really say it is of lower high. It is now only in the last few sessions that a fresh swing high was made. Now the ultimate question is whether this swing high is likely to be followed by a higher swing low or a lower swing low, and that is also going to be pretty helpful in determining whether to go for a trade or to simply sit on the sidelines. So now, looking at these current price formation, I feel we need to provide it more time for the consolidation, because right now it is around the midpoint of the range, and also it is at the crossroad. There is not much of a clarity on either side. It is showing some buying on the lower levels, but that buying is still not convincing enough to say that it's a recent trend of decline or bearishness is over. We can't really say that just yet. For that, we need longer consolidation, and then after that, if over next 2 weeks it starts to show the signs of rising beyond these 510 level, then maybe we can think about going long. But right now, I feel that it is better for us to wait it out and see how things shape up before taking any call on either side in the United Health from the medium term perspective. From the long term perspective, it is simply the consolidation phase where it is expanding its range just slightly. It is not moving convincingly in either direction. It's consolidating, and it has been holding this range for last couple of years. This is not a new development. If you go back in time, you will see that the current price level was reached way back in 2022 start, and since then it's been more than 2 years now, but the range hasn't really expanded much. It has been simply consolidating in this predefined range. Now that United Health is seemingly turning higher from the lower price levels of 430, I feel that the worst seem to be behind us for the next few months at the minimum. And if you are a long-term trader, I feel the buying opportunity can indeed taken into consideration, and immediate swing low is likely to act as a price closer to the stop loss as well. We can go for any long trade while keeping the stop loss below these immediate swing low of 430. Of course, you can wait for a few more weeks and see how things are shaping up, and in the course of time, if there is a price formation of a higher high, then you will have a much convincing scenario, and the chances can be taken given the possibility, given the probability of the United Health continuing to rally higher, because even after the disruption caused by the cyber attack, it has been able to resiliently handle everything and take care of the clients. That gives much more confidence in the ability of the United Health to meet and mitigate the challenges and rise to the occasion. So that's all from my side for today's session on daily stock, where we consider the quarterly report of the United Health, and afterwards we have already considered these price formation on three different time horizons. So all in all, we now can confidently say that United Health remains a trade to be taken on the bullish side. The only question is if the current price range is likely to hold, or whether a fresh correction should be warranted. So both these possibilities are there, and depending on how price action plays out over next few weeks, we will have much more clarity, and then think about a newer trading initiative, newer trading or investing initiative. So that's all from my side for today's session. If you have any query or any idea to share, do write to me feedback, and I'm more than happy to take the discussion forward. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you next time around. Till then, goodbye.